We hear a lot about the energy crisis, but there's another energy crisis that is equally serious, and that is the inner energy crisis, the crisis of lack of passion for work. According to the Gallup polls, at least in the United States, only about a third of employees are engaged in their work, with nearly half, 49%, being disengaged, and a full 18% being actively disengaged. In other words, they might be prone to even sabotage their work, not just doing the minimum, but actually doing harm. The worldwide average of employee engagement, according to the Gallup polls, is about 15%. And in some countries, for example in Japan, it's even lower, ranging from 6 to 9% of employees who are actively engaged in their work. Now, this is quite a serious problem for not only for the individual who must be suffering have to be in a place where they don't want to be most of the time, but it also affects the quality of their work and therefore the quality of all the products and services that we ourselves consume. Now, this starts quite early. It starts in school. As a university professor, I see it among my students, where you have a full range of those who are minimally engaged or disengaged, so they will do the minimum to get by, or even not enough to get by. And you have the full spectrum up to those who are maximally engaged, who will try to get the most out of everything and do far more than they were even asked. And of course, it's quite a delight to teach students like that. But looking at the range of students, you can actually see how in a year or two, when they join a company, they're getting ready to join the ranks of the actively disengaged in society. Now, if you think about in the animal kingdom, you have the predators, and then you have the herd animals, say in the African continent. And which animals are those which are taken by the predators? It's generally the slow movers. Now, a person who's actively disengaged or disengaged in their work is going to be a slow mover. They're going to be victimized as predators of maybe not literally eaten, but their energy and their resources will certainly be consumed, because there are so many people out there just more than happy to take your money, more than happy to take your time and distract you. So you don't want to be a slow mover. You want to be one who is actively engaged and passionate about your life and your work. Now, I think part of the popularity today that we see with rugby and soccer, it's interesting. If you look at the game, if you watch a game, particularly a live performance, you never know what's going to happen next. And it's the thrill and excitement of watching the game, and where's the ball going to be passed to, and it's all about team play and how you can keep the ball in motion, and the sudden upsets that, just based on a sometimes almost impossible to predict series of maneuvers, can actually put the ball into the goal. Now, when you are talking about passion, another factor, in addition to being fast-moving, is clarity and choice. Now, modern society blesses us with a lot of conveniences and seemingly a lot of choices. But in fact, when you really look at them, many of these choices are quite trivial. I mean, how many ways can you order your coffee to be made, and how important is that in the larger scheme of things? Or even worse, you have the non-committal indecision, and these things can sap your energy. So you want to be decisive and bold. Now, what is a bold decision? A bold decision is one which connects to action immediately. It's not a promise, well, I'll get around to this tomorrow, or something. Well, tomorrow never comes. So even if you can't do it all now, take some immediate action toward your decision, and your decision should be guided by your passion. Now, what is the main, then, factor that can revive us and save us from this inner energy crisis? Well, it is actually, in Japanese, is called ki, or energy. I call it the X factor. Now, X means the multiplier. Many of the resources that we strive to protect and develop in life, for example, money and time and information and contacts and the like, they are determined a lot by the mathematics of addition and subtraction. But there's one thing that can actually go much faster, and that is the multiplying factor of your energy, your ki, your passion. Now, if you have this passion, even if the other resources that you have, the amount of time and money and information is small, if you can multiply that by 10 or 100, then it becomes big. On the other hand, even if you have a value of 100 in terms of resources and savings and time and information and contacts, if your energy is 0, it all amounts to nothing. So when you're thinking about this issue of employee engagement or your own engagement in your work and in your life, think in terms of the X factor, the great multiplier, which is your passion.